in an unbelievable conference championship game. Another game for maybe the ages. Another game we look back upon as a historical marking point for your Seattle Seahawks, set up right here and now. With 3 seconds to go, he catches it to Puka Nacua. Just like I said, they were trying to get it. They're saying he ran out of bounds. They're saying he ran out of bounds. He ran out of bounds! The Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl, baby! The Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl, baby! He's down, he's out. We're good to go. Let's go, bro. We're going back. The storybook season continues forward. It just keeps rolling. It doesn't matter whether it's the Rams. It doesn't matter whether it's the refs. You keep punching, and you don't give up. Let's go, Seahawks!
What is up, NFC West football fans, and welcome into another edition of the NFC West Roundtable. And yes, it is another edition. I forgot that I already had that video preloaded, but it's a good thing I did because it was worth a second view, because it is officially Super Bowl week, where we are less than 120 hours away from kickoff Super Bowl 60, where yes, your 12s, your Seattle Rams, wow. What a start to the show. Your Seattle Seahawks are getting ready to go out there and secure a title. It is this upcoming weekend, is this upcoming Sunday, and we cannot wait to break it all down with you right here on the NFC West Roundtable, where we will preview Super Bowl 60, giving you our insights and, of course, our predictions as to what we think is to come this upcoming weekend in the grand finale. So without further ado, let's bring in the fellas, Brando, Mike, Jesse. And listen, Jesse, he cured his Darnolditis. Unfortunately, Jake came down with a little bit of it himself this week. So no Jake. He gives his best. We'll have his game prediction later on when we make ours. We think we all know where he was mentally on that game after what went down between the Hawks and the Rams. I think we all kind of know where he might be leaning on this one, who he thinks might take it, but we'll get to that later on in the show. What a beginning there, Brando. And I'm glad I had that queued up as I hit go live. It started playing and I'm like, oh, great job, Z-Bot producer. 2 weeks in a row running the same clip. But as it was going, I'm like, you know what? You got to bask in this moment because you only go to so many Super Bowls. Hell, if you're like me, you go to no Super Bowls, Brando. So you got to enjoy the moment. I'm sure you have been. What have these last 10-ish days or so been like? And is it starting to set in now where you go from the excitement to, man, we got to lock in here because we got one more left until we're champions of the world?
It really has been one that I have been trying to bask in and just enjoy it because, as you say, you just don't know if you might be there the rest of your lifetime again. And I think that that's what I've learned with life and being a fan for a long period of time is that you just, as much as you want to look towards the game in that way, you got the 2 weeks, you got a little bit of time to kind of just let it kind of breathe in a bit on you. And so there's been a bit of that, just kind of enjoying it. At the same point in time, I can't help myself by obviously looking a little bit more forward in this matchup and what's going on. But it's one where I feel ultimately fairly confident coming into this game. I'm going to need the boys to perhaps tap my brakes as we go through this show, yourself included as an NFC East participant, AFC East participant yourself out there knowing this team, because every which way I look around the corner, I get a little bit feeling of overconfident. I want to keep fighting against that. But to the team's mentality and where they're at as outside being a fan, what was really cool about, watching those mic'd up segments and all the stuff that they do behind the scenes in these games is directly after the game, when everything went triple digit down the line, you had all of the players going, it's great, we won it, not done yet. More work to be done. Oh, it feels good. It feels good, but we're bringing that chip back. And it was wild how every guy, and I'm talking just after this game finished up and what was a very hard-fought game against a rival, you getting the Super Bowl, and you could just as easily have just been just sitting there kind of in this sort of, oh, wow, kind of phase of things. But instead, the team was all collectively to a man as the camera's pushing up into their face, going, all right, we got one more left to go. This is great, but there's something that's more needing to be done. And then you go over and you see somewhat of the Patriots on their side mic'd up on their sidelines after the game, and it's a lot of, wow, cool. Can you believe it? Oh, whoa. And it's so just a bit of a different energy almost. I'm not trying to read too much into it, but these guys are locked in. This is back to your question. They're ready to go.
I know Jake said he's inactive tonight because of the flu. I think he actually fell ill when I referred to the Seattle Seahawks as the Seattle Rams. That was the moment in time in which Jake officially fell ill and was no longer able to join us tonight. Jesse, you weren't able to join us last week. First and foremost, Is the move done? Is it over with? Or are you still unpacking boxes?
No. I was very efficient. I put in multiple 17-hour days to get this thing done. Move is official. I am unpacked, feeling good about it. But I didn't get to see that intro last week. I didn't watch the show. I just called in to pay my respects. But that, I had a smile the whole time watching that. That was pure joy. And I am so happy for Brandon that, his Seahawks made it. He was able to call that game. And as much as I hate the Seahawks, I obviously love Brando. And so seeing him happy makes me happy. That was really, really cool to see.
Well said. Yes, brother. Be happy. At least somebody as good of a guy as Brando can be happy. Somebody's got to be happy, right? So I'd rather it be Brando than not. Well, you know who else might be happy? It might be our main man, Mike, in the top left, who finally gets his head coach out in Arizona. We talked about this last week. We said, if Adam Schefter's right in saying that these spots are going to get filled up sooner than we think, this time next week, we could be leading the show talking about the new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. And that's exactly what we're going to do this evening. The Arizona Cardinals, it took some time, but they wind up getting their guy, Mike LaFleur, the new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, leading this team into 2026 and hopefully beyond. Mike, I know this was a long, painstaking process for you. It's finally over. Now that it is, talk to us about the hire, your thoughts on it, and how you think this benefits Arizona moving into this upcoming season.
Well, Z-Bot, you got fire in your gut? Did you take the bus? Pew, 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 shot exclusive. That's over, man. That era is over for the Arizona Cardinals. And thankfully, man, we now are living in the Mike LaFleur, era right now. And honestly, I'm really excited to obviously go into this 2026 season with a new coach, just new hope, right? New hope. But you're right, man. The way that this whole thing played out was dreadful. But that's what Monty said. Monty Austin-Ford, as well as Michael Bidwell, they were going to be as thorough as they possibly can. Now, during this press conference that we ended up seeing today, because today was the introductory press conference for Mike LaFleur, they ended up coming out and basically saying, this is who we wanted the whole time. We diagnosed him from the beginning. But it's just so weird how this all played out, because obviously when the Cardinals met with Mike on Monday and Tuesday, it was a 2-day meeting. And then everybody was expecting some news on Wednesday, and then crickets, right? Then we saw Mike Garafolo on the coverage of the Senior Bowl saying, yeah, Mike's gone. Mike LaFleur left with no contract. As far as I know, that they are trying to kind of, visit or meet with somebody else, and that other person was Clint Kubiak. So the way that this whole thing kind of shook out, it was just so freaking weird. We all knew, right? The NFL world knew. The only people that didn't know is Monty Osborne and Michael Bidwell, that the Clint Kubiak was linked to the Raiders for quite some time now. But the way it shook out, I think they had dinner, or at least I saw a couple reports out there that they had dinner the day prior, and then he did not become available to meet with until 7 p.m. Seattle time, 8 p.m. AZ time. It's just damn, it's crazy. Thank you for giving us 2 hours, 3 hours of your time. But we knew how this was all going to unfold, right? We knew that how this was all going to unfold. We were just worried as a Cardinal fan base that we did not want to see what we ended up seeing from Anthony Campanelli, which is the defensive coordinator from the Jacksonville Jaguars, which had some real serious ties with the Cardinals. He pulled out. So we were worried about, oh man, there goes Mike LaFleur. Is he going to, feel some sort of way? But no, he didn't. He stuck around. He waited for the process, and the Cardinals ended up getting, quote unquote, their guy. And overall, we're all excited. I think this fan base is looking for something to hang on to. Last year was dreadful, man. Dreadful. 5-game losing streak, then a 9-game losing streak. It wasn't football that you wanted to get excited about on Sundays, right? It felt like a chore or a hobby, or sorry, not a hobby, like a chore, or something to do that you don't have fun watching. And unfortunately, I was doing a lot of live play-by-plays for the Arizona Cardinals. But yeah, Michael LaFleur is a new head coach for the Cardinals, 5-year deal. Super excited about it. And I don't know the questions you're going to ask, but they asked about Kyler, and it's very, very vague right now. So just we'll leave it at that. I don't think he's coming back. And I've been talking about it for quite some time, but the Kyler Murray conversations obviously asked between the local media as well as the local radio station, and he is keeping everything hush hush, very vague, and it just kind of feels like the era of Kyler Murray is more likely than done here.
Yeah, well, since he's a Jet, you got to keep things under wraps until that winds up coming to fruition. So we'll keep monitoring that until that actually ends up coming to fruition. My question for you now, Mike. No, go ahead.
I want to ask, sorry to jump from you. I want to ask you, Mike, real quick. Do you want to see them start to heavily shift their approach this offseason to the offensive side of the ball with this, where recently so much of what they've done is defensively driven?
Yeah, I mean, preferably I would like them to blend it. I don't know why the Arizona Cardinals went so. I mean, I understand why they went so deep heavy this last offseason, but like they literally had one new acquisition, and it was a 5th round pick in Hayden Connor. Like they didn't do anything on the offensive side of the ball, which is absolutely wild to me. I would love to get some more defensive, minded guys. Like there's some people out there that want the best right tackle available. Like I'm in the draft. I'm in the belief you don't go after need in the draft. You have to go for a BPA, right? Best player available. I would love to go after, Bain or maybe a David Bailey, right? Something like that. Somebody that can come into this roster and be a difference maker. I'm looking for a blue chip player at the 3rd overall pick. Now, obviously, free agency, you plug in holes as you go. I preferably would love for them to blend and go defense and offense. I don't know if they're just going to go offense because that's the way Monty Austin Fort works, but preferably I would love for them to like get both sides of the ball if I'm going to be realistic.
We saw how good that offense was in LA under Mike LaFleur, and we're looking to see if that can translate in Arizona. One way that you can allow it to get to that point, or at least help, is landing the proper offensive coordinator. That seems to be the next question here, Mike. Those have been getting swept up. We just saw Matt Nagy go to the Giants. So right now it doesn't feel like the pickings are in abundance. I know it's early here. It's not early in the sense that the Cardinals have been looking for a coach for a while, but it's early in this process now that LaFleur has just been hired. What are Cardinals fans saying? What is the want, and what do you think ends up happening there at OC?
So I'm seeing multiple different reports from like Ian Rapp, as well as Adam Schefter. There's some guys that are already connected to the Cardinals. Now, of course, they're not pen to paper yet, or the official announcement hasn't been announced, but not the biggest fan of the offensive coordinator, but we've been linked to a guy in Nathaniel Hackett, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people know, but Hackett's been linked to the Arizona Cardinals because he's had some ties with LaFleur, as well as for the defensive coordinator. Was it, I forgot his name. I'm sorry. Here we go. Wink Martindale. I think he's a defensive coordinator now for Michigan. And he was with the Giants the year prior, I believe. So not the biggest fan of the coordinators right now, but let's see how this all shakes out. Yeah.
Wink's wild, Mike. He's a wild man. You thought Bruce, no risk it, no biscuit type mentality, the coach. This guy's like that on steroids.
Really? Okay.
Here's one thing to note in regard to that. Did you see the news of Wink Martindale's ties to the Jets? This came out today, which is interesting because Woody Johnson put the X on it. They wanted him in New York. Woody Johnson rules it out. He says no. And I find that to be interesting because we know Woody Johnson from time to time, when he meddles in with the organization, there's been some pushback. So it makes you wonder, why wouldn't he want a guy like Wink Martindale? And to your point, Brandon, maybe that's why.
He's McDonald was the guy that was underneath him, and McDonald evolved his scheme. So he's cover zero, press man on the outside, and he'll run that 24/7, whether his guys are starting or not. Where Mike built in the zone concepts and more of the fluidity and post snap coverages. So he can just be a little bit pedaled down. It comes from the Rex Ryan origins, this defense, and he really leans into that.
So with this said, you're looking at this early infancy stages here, Mike. We talked about Kyler Murray a little bit, but to you, is it a foregone conclusion at this point that they do go in a different direction? And with that in mind, is it a direction they go in with a veteran presence, or is this something that they're going to attempt to try and address in the draft where many feel outside of Mendoza, it just might not be worth it?
I think veteran presence, a lot of people like to look through free agency, but we got a veteran right now in Jacoby Brissett. He's still under contract for one more year. I do believe that's what the Cardinals are going to do. Now, there has been the name Malik Willis been floating around because obviously the ties with his brother in Green Bay. And people were like, well, maybe if we get Malik Willis, it really depends on what he wants. Like if he's trying to get starter money or even like 20 plus, it's way too rich for what the Arizona Cardinals are trying to do right now. I would rather allocate that money. Like this is only coming from my opinion. I'm not speaking for them, but like for me, I would rather allocate that money for like a right tackle or somebody on the offensive side of the ball or the offensive line. That's what I would do with that $18-19 million as opposed to going for a quarterback when you already have Jacoby. I would hope the plan would be to maybe bring in a quarterback in the draft. And I get it. Fernando Mendoza is probably seen as the top 10 pick, but I've seen some flashes here and there from Ty Simpson. I'm not completely out on him. I know Nussmeier had a pretty solid, was it Senior Bowl, but I'm not really into him. I really did like Chambliss. I'm not sure if he's coming out. He's doing everything in his power to avoid the freaking NFL right now. So I don't know how much I really like him. But maybe the Cardinals take a flyer later on, maybe the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, somebody like that, they can bring in to potentially attempt to develop right behind Jacoby Brissett. But I do expect, as of right now, while we're sitting on February the 3rd, that Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starting quarterback, even if it's for a month, the start of the 2026 season. That's what I expect right now.
Well, Mike LaFleur, he stays within division, but moves to a new team and a new position. Now officially the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. We look forward to seeing how this pans out throughout the offseason and then, of course, into 2026. Let's stay in division and move on to Super Bowl 60. Let's talk about it. The big game this upcoming Sunday where Brandon, he's all ears because his Seattle Seahawks are 4.5-point favorites taking on the team that when they were last in the Super Bowl fell this shy to, looking to get their revenge, and you'd think they would be set up for it. This is where what you said earlier to me, Brandon, interests me because you said that there seems to be a bit of overconfidence within you right now. And the funny thing is, I feel like that's not just a Seattle thing. It's not just a biased fan base thing. I've yet to really see many people at all defend why the New England Patriots are going to go in here and win this game. And when I think about it myself, it's very tough to convince myself of New England finding a way to win this unless Seattle flat out loses it. This is where I'm intrigued about this game in itself, right? You look at the storylines. You have Darnold versus May, but I don't think that captures as many people as maybe a Mahomes versus Brady did, Mahomes versus Hurts, or really Mahomes or Brady versus anybody. This is more of a different angle we have not seen in some time. You have these two defenses, but in this day and age, it's always the quarterback, it's always the offense that's highlighted. The defense never gets its fair due. I'm wondering from you guys, as we are about to approach the weekend and get into this game, what's the biggest storyline for you here that you're looking at? And Jesse, I'll start with you here. You do have that revenge factor. Obviously, Sam Darnold, rags to riches type story. Mike Vrabel, year 1, Drake May, year 2. What's the big thing that stands out to you in this game here?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to pin it on the quarterbacks, but to me, that's exactly what it is. Sam Darnold was Drake May once upon a time. He was the young prospect. He's got the size. He's got the arm. He's got the mobility. And the Jets franchise cast him away, and he's been kind of a nomad for a while. And he's rebounded, revamped his career. He's got a chance to be Super Bowl MVP potentially. This is a complete career turnaround opportunity for him. And then you got Drake May, who is the up-and-coming quarterback. He is touted as the next guy. However, he struggled throughout the course of the playoffs. I think he only had like 86 yards passing the last game. And so, but this is his chance to explode on the scene. If he can come out and win a Super Bowl MVP, then now he's all of a sudden a top 5 guy in the league and everybody's talking about him. So for me, it's that. And I'm also really interested in both these coaches as well. I think Vrabel got screwed over with the Tennessee Titans. I think he was a good coach always. This is his first year with the Patriots. He's got him in a Super Bowl. McDonald is only in year 2, and he's got him in a Super Bowl. And then one more storyline that's intriguing to me, and I've got to ask Brandon about this. Very vague as far as the social media posts, but it did seem like there was a possibility that one Leonard Williams might be done after this year. Was that just, hey, it's the last dance as far as this is the last game of the season? Or is there talk that this man really could retire at the end of the season?
I think that there's a very real possibility of this, and I would add on to the stack of that DeMarcus Lawrence and Cooper Kupp. You know, these guys are all at a point in time in their career where a send-off like this could be one that they all look at and they're like, that was good. We accomplished what we came to accomplish. So it would not surprise me. He's got one more year left on his deal beyond this season. He is getting into his 30s. He's played a lot of ball. He's earned a lot of money at this point, you know, and you get a championship, you go, well, what is left to necessarily accomplish other than let's see if we can go back to back. But it would not shock me, Jesse, not at all.
Oh.
To add on top of this, I'm glad Jesse kind of brought that angle up because it reminded me of this. Out of nowhere, Seahawks selling the team. right? Jody Allen being forced or pushed into, I guess, selling the team. Quite funny. It comes out the week before the Super Bowl. And look, I think that when you want to sell us, if you're selling a stock, sell high. I don't think you could really ever sell higher than where the Seattle Seahawks are currently at. But Brandon, this is kind of one of those things where family owned for a very long time. You get massive news like this. This isn't just nothing. It's something. It's massive. You don't see these teams go up for sale very often, and especially the dollar amounts they're going for now. It's huge. So what are you making of this whole thing kind of coming out when it has?
Well, we got the dark side defense, but Z-Bot, you know all about the evil empire, don't you?
Oh, I do.
And Mr. Kraft, to me, shows that with situations like this, they were all part of their little game. They're all part of their little game. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And so what he's doing is some gamesmanship. He's part of a community that would serve on overseeing this type of sale. He leaks this information out during the Super Bowl because he knows his team's the underdog and the heavy one at that. And so he's hoping to kind of rattle the cage of the Seattle Seahawks. A little gamesmanship, if you will. Now, is the team for sale? Yeah, they had to pass a certain point to where they didn't have to give a percentage of the proceeds of profit back to the city because the city helped to fund a stadium about 20 years ago. So they had to get past a marker before they could sell the team. They've gotten past that marker now. That's why they haven't sold the team prior to this. And I would estimate that a guy like Jeff Bezos has come in now already hot to trot and wanting to buy a team anyway. Seeing Seattle here with this great young coach, a great young team going to the Super Bowl, and he comes to Jody and he's like, hey, I'll just throw you a whole billion extra more than the last team paid. Would you take that?
If you're asking me, the answer would be yes. You imagine just having an additional Billy cash? Like, yeah, listen, I know the offers are high, but I could give you an additional bill cash. That would be interesting, Brandon, because we are now entering, as we find these teams going up for sale, and obviously a lot of them are still legacy owned, but we're getting into this new wave where it is all new money, and it's crazy money, where you went from these teams selling in the hundreds of millions to now approaching nearly double-digit billions. That's where we're getting here, and it's going to be interesting to see how this changes. We saw what the Walton family did in a very short time with Denver. Immediately came in. Things changed quick, right? Russ gone, Sean Payton in. So there's just so many elements to this that I find intriguing, but you can never put it past the New England Patriots to find the one thing that's kind of laying beneath the stack that they wind up throwing out and putting under the spotlight. You almost got to give them credit because of how good they are at it.
All I'm saying is that we've had to throw Josh McDaniels off our practice premises at least 3 times through the lead-in of the week, okay? He's got the old school video camera he's been rocking with the VCR, all that stuff. I don't know what he's doing out there, but they've literally had to get security to usher him off the grounds 3 separate times just this last week alone.
Sheesh.
Mike, what are you making of the spectacle that is this game this upcoming weekend? What are the storylines that jump out to you? And I'm glad Jesse brought up the coach angle earlier because I feel like if you're betting on New England here, it feels like you're betting on one thing, and you're betting on Mike Vrabel. That's kind of what the Patriots feel like. I think when you think of the Bengals, you think Joe Burrow. When you think of the Bills, you think Josh Allen. But it's weird. The Patriots seem to be one of those teams where you think of somebody, you think of the coach. So I'm glad he brought that up. Is there a similar angle or something else that pops out to you when you're looking at this game on Sunday?
I mean, with the exception of all the stuff that Jesse mentioned, I mean, the only other thing that I would think of is just like this defense. Like, I'm curious to figure out if this is going to be like a defensive type of game, like one of those ugly games. Because I mean, yes, the Seahawks are the better defense out of the two, but the Patriots got a really solid defense as well. They can get after a quarterback, and Vrabel doesn't play around. I mean, this is going to be a really good, fascinating game. I hope there's points up there, but I would probably see along more of the lines of like somewhere in the 20s, right? Like no 30s. It's probably going to be like 20s if they're lucky. But like I'm just looking more at the defense. Like how stingy are they going to be in this game? So I'm excited. I mean, overall, I think Jesse kind of nailed it. A lot of the storylines that was also kind of mentioned. But yeah, the defense is what I'm really looking at to see if the points are going to be up there or not.
Brandon, I can only imagine a million different things that have been on your mind over the last week and a half here, but what's the one thing you've kind of narrowed in on when you close your eyes and vision this game? What's the one thing that really pops out to you the most leading into Sunday?
Which offense can be more effective going against different things? And what I mean by that is that the Patriots are going to live a little bit more in single high zone stuff, and they're going to bring that safety in the box, and they're also going to run a lot of 3-4 to counter your base packages. Whereas on the flip side, you're going to live in nickel with lighter fronts. So which offense can find more effectiveness against that counterpart that you can fully anticipate?
We're looking at this game, and Jesse, let's say pretty much this time Sunday, the game will be coming to a conclusion or close to it. And let's say the final score reads New England is victorious. What happened in the game that allowed that outcome to come to fruition?
Well, I mean, first of all, can I say how happy I would be if that's the outcome of what happens? I mean, I don't know about you, but if you want to throw up in your mouth as a 49er fan, there's a picture floating around of the Seahawks end zone being painted in Levi's Stadium. I don't, that's enough to make you want to slam your dick in the door. But I don't, anyways. Listen, if the Patriots are victorious, they were able to control the clock. They were able to control the pace of the game and play a little bit of keep away from Seattle's offense and do what most teams cannot outside of the Rams for whatever reason. They can just go crazy against the Seahawks defense, but they're able to stay on the field against this defense and move the ball well between the 20s and obviously put up enough points by doing so. But I think they're going to have to win the time of possession and they're going to have to play clean football. If they do those two things, I think that's really their only path. And even then, a Rashid Shaheed return for a touchdown could happen at any point. So it may not even matter then.
To your point, the equivalent of this game, quite literally, would be if the Super Bowl was being played in Buffalo and they were painting the New England Patriots logo in the end zone. I don't know how I would be able to deal with it, much like you, Jesse. But then again, you think about it from the player perspective. Like when these guys lose in the playoffs, it kills us. And then you think, wait, I can't even imagine how the guys are feeling. Coach Yak earlier on Twitter put out a statement that Fred Warner had addressed when you had watched the Sam Darnold and Drake May banners be erected up on the outside of Levi Stadium. He said, quote, "I train here, so I was over at the stadium last week, and they were telling us how they were going to have to kick us out because the Super Bowl was starting up at the beginning of this week. They started putting the posters up on Levi Stadium, and I see Sam Darnold in that Seattle uniform and Drake May up there, and it makes you sick to your stomach because you feel like you should be seeing Brock Purdy up there on that big poster." I could not imagine spending as much time as they do in that facility, watching what's transpiring throughout the week here. What could transpire, Mike, on Sunday would be an upset should New England win it. If they do find a way to win it, what do you think happens in that game for them to find a way to overcome both sides of the ball here? Because we know what New England's defense is, but New England has not shown us offensively they're able to keep pace with what Seattle has done on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I can really see the Patriots, and I'm not trying to stroke the ego over there of Brandon or the Seahawks, but like, man, it's so hard because mistake-free football is going to have to happen from the Patriots, and they're going to have to try to make what we've all been talking about, right? Oh, Sam Darnold turns into a pumpkin, and obviously that narrative is completely done now because he can beat you or the defense can beat you, right? But like, that's really the only way I can see the Patriots win this game. Like, they got to make that happen. Like, they got to force over crazy things, like crazy fumbles. Special teams need to come into play, like a crazy turnover here and there, and just kind of shift momentum. Like, I think this is going to be a close game because obviously Vrabel and Mike McDonald over there, they're really, really good coaches over there. So I'm not going to put anything past them, but like, I just see a hard time seeing the Patriots, hoist the Lombardi up, because just with how the Seahawks team is playing right now, special teams, defense, offense, like this is literally a team that can beat you in any freaking way, like any way possible. So it's a tough question because like anything I'm coming up with my head, I'm like, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. But you just got to make Sam Darnold look like a pumpkin. That's it, and that's gonna be hard to do, especially how he's playing right now.
I got to tell you, who's looked like a pumpkin up until this point? It's Drake May. 5 touchdowns, 5 total turnovers. But they find themselves in this spot, the Patriots do, because they've allowed 26 total points over 3 playoff games. That's the key here, Brando. It is the defense, but just like I alluded to, it's the offense of Seattle that's been playing just as well as their defense has. It feels like New England's very top-heavy on one side of the ball right now, and I don't care what New England fans want to tell you. They have had a stroke of luck here in who they've had to go up against on that offensive side of the ball at the quarterback position. And if Sam Darnold plays like he just did against the Rams, it doesn't come close to what they've faced on their way through here. I got to imagine this is what's leading to your confidence. But if you, unfortunately, at the end of Sunday, you're sitting there shaking your head saying, I can't believe this, You know this Hawks team better than anybody. What would they have to do to allow New England to win a game that the majority of people outside of the Boston area think is not going in the direction of the Patriots?
I think probably Jesse touched on what would be inherently at the heart of what you'd be thinking. First and foremost would be that they would be of controlling the clock throughout the game and shortening the game, shortening the number of possessions, able to get that turnover intermixed in there where they're winning the turnover battle and get a big time turnover that can shorten the field for them. But at the end of the day, sort of keeping the offense off the field and being able to just sort of convert the third down in shorts, getting a little bit of those 3 yards here, 4 yards here on second down, 3rd and 3. Now the pass rush can't come as hot at you. Now you can't run as much of the stack box or run as much of the blitzes because you're worried about him hitting a hot route. So you've got to play it a little bit more straight up at that point. I think that would be about the only pathway that I can see here with this Patriot team going out there and getting it done at that point. But even that I'm reluctant to, because as I look at the numbers, I was expecting this year them to be a very balanced team in how they run to pass, especially considering how many games they were up in the games. But instead you see this as a team that throws 55% of the time. And I just think that you have in Josh McDaniels some of that pull that's always inherently inside him to go back to the spread concepts he was doing at his best with Tom Brady and, peppering the ball around the field a little bit.
It's funny. And speaking of those Tom Brady teams, it leads me to think of those games compared to this game, because once again, I just have not seen many people walk out onto a ledge here. And granted, it's not a 14-point spread. It's a 4.5-point spread. But even still, I'm not seeing many people kind of walk the plank here, standing there with their life on the line saying, give me New England. I'm all in on them. You go back to the 2 Giants Super Bowls, right? Nobody had New England. The Giants win them both. Nobody had New England against the Rams. They find a way to win it. It just feels odd when the public sentiment is so far on one side that it ends up going exactly that way. But it will go that way if Sam Darnold, like I mentioned, if he plays like he just did. It's really hard to envision these Seahawks losing this football game. Jesse, you talked about the quarterbacks earlier being the marquee element of this game, and that's the NFL for you. It comes down to the quarterbacks. You're looking at these two guys, and just based on blind faith here, do you think that the inexperience, because granted, Sam Darnold has proved it up until this point, but the stage of the Super Bowl, unlike any other, and I include the NFC Championship in that, you have Drake May here, year 2, and it's almost like he doesn't know what he doesn't know. Is there one way you lean here, or are you looking at this and saying, man, I've seen enough from Darnold during this run here to where I'm putting my faith in him going out there and getting it done?
Yeah, when it comes to the quarterbacks, I mean, I would have to lean Darnold at this point. Neither of these guys have Super Bowl experience, that's for sure, but one of them has played pretty damn well in the playoffs. The other one hasn't. And one of them is much younger and just has less game experience altogether. I mean, say what you want, but Sam Darnold has been through the ringer as far as his NFL career goes, and he's really had to put things back together to have this opportunity. And he's shut a lot of people up, myself included, up to this point. And so he's had to earn a lot, and that makes it tough. I think Drake May has a chance to be fantastic, but much like all young quarterbacks, I got to see it for a few seasons. I'm not ready to just say he's sensational and he's top 5 and all these things. We've seen a lot of players come in and take the league by storm for a season and then fall off. Hell, we just watched it happen with CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels, and it's still too early to write them off as far as what's going on there. But, I want to see it from Drake May. And Drake May, they've played in some bad weather. That's the AFC East. I get it. I'm not saying he can't play well or doesn't look like a really good up-and-coming player, but it's really hard for me to elevate him over a guy who's been in the league for as long as Sam Darnold has, who has fought through what Sam Darnold has done. And mentally, maybe they see the field differently, but physically, what does he bring to the table that Sam Darnold doesn't? They both are about the same size. They both are mobile a little bit. They both have good arms. I mean, Sam Darnold is basically the more seasoned version of Drake May at this point. So it's hard for me to say that I would trust Drake May more in this situation, which is, I don't know, maybe crazy to hear me say when a couple weeks ago I was like, I want to see Sam Darnold do it. So I've seen him do it, and I trust him in this situation.
He did do it, and the interesting thing here is even though Drake May's going into the Super Bowl, he hasn't done it. All the way up until this point, he hasn't done it. Mike, you're looking at the quarterback matchup.
Real quick, I just want to throw this out there. The Patriots haven't done it. I mean, let's be real about what we've seen from the Patriots. They've faced like 9.
Back him up with the Twitter on this one.
Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about? Like 9 head coaches that have been fired that they face. They face like 8 backup quarterbacks. I mean, they really haven't played a tough schedule whatsoever. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. I'm not trying to take credit away from them, but when I look at the path to get here, which team is more battle tested? It's clearly the Seattle Seahawks. Clearly the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seattle Seahawks not only had the tougher schedule and really kind of ran through everybody that they played at some point during the season. But to have to play the 2 games against division opponents and play 2 teams for a third time, that's never easy to do. I mean, these teams know you as well as they can. And not only that, but you went against 2 of the most seasoned head coaches you could as far as experience in the playoffs, and you won those games. I mean, you played against Matthew Stafford, who has a Super Bowl ring, and Sean McVay, who had been to 2 Super Bowls. You beat them, and not only beat them, but out executed them, which is crazy to say. And then you got Kyle Shanahan on the other side, who's been to multiple Super Bowls, Brock Purdy, who's been to a Super Bowl, and you just beat the brakes off them. That game was never close. What does New England bring to the table that they haven't seen already? I really struggle to find the path to giving New England this game. I really do.
Yeah.
And to your point, Brando, attorney at law, has submitted some evidence into the jury here. And I mean, I think a lot of us know this by now, but when you kind of read it out, it does paint, or it illuminates rather, what New England has been. I know Patriots fans don't want to hear it, especially from a guy like me who couldn't get there. I understand that. Like you said, Jesse, I'd much rather be lucky than good. It's hard to argue that New England hasn't had a dash of luck when you are going up against CJ Stroud, who just all of a sudden decided to start playing the worst ball of his career towards the end of the year. You go against Jared Stidham in a snowstorm where Sean Payton refuses to take the points late in the football game. Brandon Cooks did catch it. The Bills should have been playing New England in that game and should be playing Seattle this upcoming weekend. The Patriots have caught several breaks, and the main break here is the schedule that they played. Yeah. Brando sent this along to me. The 2025 New England Patriots faced one of the easiest schedules in the NFL, with a strength of schedule of approximately 0.429 based on their 2024 opponent records, or a 0.391 strength of schedule based on actual 2025 opponent performance, making it one of the easiest roads to the playoffs in recent history. Strength of schedule ranking, the Patriots had the 3rd weakest or easiest strength of schedule in the NFL. Opponent ranking, like I mentioned, based on their record, combined in 2024 for a record of 124 and 165. That results in that 0.429 winning percentage. And then when you add the performance metrics based on what happened this year, that goes all the way down to 0.370 against 2025 postseason teams, which is obviously the cream of the crop here. So when we're looking at that sample size, Mike, back to the quarterback situation here, do you think they're going to be able to overcome this in a situation where they've been overcoming a lot all year based on what they were last season, but in a very advantageous spot?
Talking about the Patriots, are they going to overcome
the Patriots, yeah.
No. I don't think they've played a team like Seattle. Like I said earlier, they're well equipped to beat you any single way they possibly can. Like I said, Rashid Shaheed, like Jesse said, he could run it for a couple touchdowns or a touchdown, right? Like that's just how good this overall team is on paper, and they're playing their best football right now. So I know we're trying to grasp at straws here, and in terms of what can the Patriots do? I mean, it's as simple as control the time and force turnovers where you can, right? And take the points where you can. But here's the thing, right? Sam Darnold is playing really good football right now, but also too, the weapons, man. JSN is playing out of his freaking mind right now. One of the best wide receivers in the NFL, right? Like the weaponry that Sam Darnold has on the offensive side of the ball, I would take them over what they got going on over there with Drake May and those weapons. Now, congratulations to Stephon Diggs and what he's doing and whatever, but JSN's a different breed, man. And then I just trust their offense so much more. I really do. And Drake May, for what he's been doing this year, call it MVP candidate, that's fine, whatever you want to call it, but he's still really young, man. This defense can do things that can rattle a young man and completely take him out of his game. And Drake May has not had a great playoffs. Like he's been out of really struggling out there, man. He's been struggling. So I just see this defense and I'm like, they ain't no way, man. Like there's just no way that they're going to have any sliver of chance to win this game. Why? I hope I don't bite my tongue with that for the sake of Brando, but like, I don't see it, man. I really don't.
Speaking of that youth, every quarterback that Mike Macdonald has faced in this same exact situation as Drake May, he has feasted, to say the least. Brando once again put in another beauty into evidence, and this one kind of illustrates what Drake May is walking into. Mike Macdonald has gone up against 6 quarterbacks under the age of 24 since 2023. Those quarterbacks 0-6 with a 1 touchdown to 8 interception ratio. And the Seahawks have sacked those quarterbacks 22 times. Brando, I mean, Mike said it earlier, not to stroke your ego, but man, I myself am trying to find a way to talk myself out of what seems to be so obvious here. What's Drake May stepping into here? Because it's not just, the Patriots had an easy schedule to get here. They're going up against a team that is the best in the NFL as it currently stands.
Yeah, it's a buzzsaw, and I don't know that this is a buzzsaw that'll last on into some dynasty. I'm making some prediction that for years to come, this is the way. But right now, lightning in a bottle for this season, as every year is new, they've captured that. I've been trying to make the case to you guys on this for quite a while because I could sense it, and I've seen it before, having seen some real special teams come down the line. You can also add, by the way, Max Brosner on top of that 0-for-6 because he's like 27 years old, but another rookie that absolutely did nothing this year on top of those stats and numbers. And then it's even as fun as it even gets down the line to a couple of even extra added things, if you can imagine this. At the end of the game against the Broncos, Drake May went down on his throwing shoulder and he injured it. He didn't practice all last week. I don't know how much he's practiced this week so far, but there's a lot of wonder about that shoulder. And remember, Joshua Dobbs is the backup there. I'm not hoping for this, by the way. It's just not another good sign for the team. I'm not saying like I'd love to have them at the full health. I'm not saying that. Just it's like it's another thing. And then if you can imagine this as one more cherry on the top that I learned today, which is just a beautiful factor of this, Ebot, is your Buffalo Bills have provided us with the strat that's given the Patriots the most problem down the stretch.
Cover 6.
You guys brought out in week 15 the cover 6. You brought it out in week 15. And when you did that, you put the brakes on Drake. He's been great against man coverage. He's been good against a couple of other zone defenses, but that completely neutralized him. For the next couple of weeks after that, a bunch of teams tried to put in that same thing, but you got teams like the Ravens who don't run a lot of cover 6. Guess who runs some of the highest proclivity of cover 6 in the entire National Football League?
Whose house? Hawks house.
Hawks house.
Wow.
Whose house?
It just feels like if we were on a speech and debate team, and one, say me and Mike get the side of arguing for New England here, and Brando, you and Jesse get the side of arguing Seattle, regardless of who wins the game on the field, because that's where it's played. If we were pitted against each other and having to make an argument as to who wins this here, me and Mike are without a paddle. And it's rare that you find this going into this type of game. When you go into the Super Bowl, you go into wild card weekend, we see this all the time where it's just like, yeah, they back in, they win a bad division. This is how it goes. You very rarely see it get to this point where it does feel this lopsided, but it does feel that way. And that's what I think adds to the intrigue. Back to talking about the storylines earlier, I feel like one of the storylines here is, funny enough, have you ever seen a bigger underdog that is not an underdog? Because in no way, shape, or form is the New England Patriots, the franchise, an underdog. But in every aspect, they feel like they are in this game. So I have a feeling we know where everybody's going in terms of their predictions, but we will get to those official predictions in just a second. Before we do, I want to give a shout out to my friends over at RotoWire who have had us covered all season long with their premium tools, and they have you covered all the way through the weekend here for the Super Bowl. One of my favorite tools, as you know, is their NFL odds and betting lines tool, where you can compare all of the lines across all the major sports books all in one place. Right now, you can get the best line for the Seattle Seahawks over on BetMGM. You can get the best line for the New England Patriots over on DraftKings. And just an intrigue to this is the fact that it just feels like everyone feels how we feel, guys. But you're looking at these lines, and that 4.5 has not budged for the last week and a half. So it just typically when you feel this sentiment building up towards one team, you see those lines move. They haven't. You can monitor whether or not they do end up moving by Sunday using this RotoWire premium tool. Link in the description below. Click that, sign up for RotoWire. Once you do, use the promo code RTS, you will immediately get 15% off that premium subscription. And then, of course, speaking of the Super Bowl, if you are in my boat where you're going to be adamantly rooting against the New England Patriots, you might want to have a little more on the line than just hatred for the opponent. If you're like me, get in on the action using Sleeper Slip. I have mine right on the screen in front of you here. I got Sam Darnold more than 228.5. Kenneth Walker to get into the end zone. JSN more than 94.5 receiving yards. Drake May scrambling around for more than 37.5 yards. You can tell that, or of course, create your own via the link in the description below. You click that and you sign up for Sleeper. Once you do, you will immediately get a free $20 entry. You can use that on the Super Bowl to make a slip like I did. NBA, NHL, you name it, it's all on Sleeper. And once you use that free $20 entry, use the promo code on your screen, RTS, and that will get you a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms of use for details. Currently available in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper via the link in the description below. And while you're down there in the description, checking out RotoWire, checking out Sleeper, you got to check out our friends over at Covered, because they got you covered with some awesome stuff that you can win, including a signed JSN jersey. I can only think of one thing better than the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl for U12s. It would be for them to win it, then you winning a signed JSN jersey. You can do that via the link in the description below. You click that and sign up for Covered. Awesome app. It is a money-saving tool that has a ton of games on there that helps you not only save money, but leads to awesome prizes like this JSN jersey. You play a variety of different games, and the leader atop of the leaderboard of those games at the end of the contest wins the prize, one of which an awesome signed JSN jersey. Not just a signed jersey, by the way. I love those frame-ups. You got the logo, a couple images, beautiful piece. Link in the description below. Click it, sign up for Covered, download the app, and when you do, use the code BALLDON'TLIE. That will give you a free entry that you can use to try and win that JSN jersey. All right, JSN and company will be taking on the New England Patriots on Super Bowl Sunday. And fellas, I got a feeling we're all going to be aligned here on our picks. I'll start with Jake, who could not be with us tonight. He's got the Seattle Seahawks dominating. He's got them winning this one 38-16, more than doubling up New England. I got a feeling Jake's taking out. It looks good on Jake, right? Loses to the champs, plus a little revenge for the last time those Patriots took on an NFC West opponent in the Super Bowl. So Jake's got him more than doubling up on the New England Patriots. But Mike, I'll start with you here. I got a feeling I know where we're all leaning, but is it going to be a closer game than maybe many would predict? How does this one go down on Sunday?
I was leaning on it's going to be close, like a 3-point game, but then I implemented the whole special teams as well. I'm not going to say it's a complete blowout, but I see like this game turnout where like Drake May, first 2 drives, goes up and scores a touchdown, right? So 7 points, and looks like, oh, it's going to be a really good game. Sam Darnold does the same thing, whether it's K9 or him throwing it to JSN, right? So it's tie. But then I feel like it's going to get away from the Patriots. I think they're going to score not touchdowns, but I think the way this is all going to shake out, it's going to be 28-13. I got the Seattle Seahawks winning this game over the Patriots.
Jake got the Hawks doubling up the Pats. Mike got the Hawks doubling up the Pats. Jesse, what say you? What happens in your neck of the woods, or at least your Niners neck of the woods on Sunday?
Substation takes out all the knees for both these teams. No, I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I do think that there is a path to victory, although a slim one for the Patriots. I will say the one thing that does worry me is that the spread's only 4.5. It just usually when everything is this obvious, it's not this obvious, and Vegas rarely loses their butts. And I gotta imagine there's a ton of money coming in on the Seahawks at that 4.5 point spread. So that is a little concerning. But ultimately, I do just think that the Seahawks are the better team. I'm going to go 27-20 Seahawks. Not only do they win, they cover the spread, and I'm taking more on the 46.5.
That's what scares me. I mean, most people, they like to bet on football. Everybody and their mother likes to bet on the Super Bowl. Yet that line hasn't moved. But Brando, these Hawks, they're going to defy Vegas. They're going to defy the line. 4.5 point favorite. Might as well be 14.5, right? In all seriousness, no, your Seahawks, they've made it. They're here. They're one away from being world champs. And it feels like the world's rooting for him. Outside of the New England, Massachusetts area, it just feels like the world on Sunday is wearing that bold green and navy. So with the world on your side, Sam Darnold playing his best ball, Mike McDonald, masterclass coaching this defense, going up against a team that nobody thought was going to be here when the season started. Do they end up putting New England under the dirt and making everybody think when this is all said and done, I told you so?
They 100% do so. And yes, as you said, it's like all of America, with the exception of some very tiny little regions in California, are wanting us to win this game. And it's nice to have that kind of backing nationally. You know, it almost feels like they may be the Patriots, but it's almost patriotic to root for Seattle here. That's how it kind of feels. But as we get to something real here, look, we are a team that has felt like they have been on a mission for a while, and not just in a fun way to just sort of say it casually, but in everything that they've gone about in their business has added up to this. There's no frills, there's no extra stuff. There is just simply, we want to go and accomplish this, and we know what it takes, and we're locked in to make it happen. And above playing their best football at this time of year, above being on the run that they've been, above having all three phases of the football team humming, I think that this is just a bad matchup for New England, stylistically speaking. And so when it really comes down to this, I think Seahawks are going to remain balanced. They're going to stick to the blueprint that they've applied through the whole back half of the schedule since the 4 interception Sam Darnold experience. They've fitted into a certain blueprint in the style of how they played. I think that they're just going to basically calmly, quietly take this Patriot team down through the course of this game, and we end up looking back at the score, and it's like 27-17.
The whole panel on the Hawks, the whole world on the Hawks. Will they deliver? We will find out Sunday, and we cannot wait to watch Super Bowl 60. We can't wait.
Brandon, are you calling the game? Are you going to watch it and enjoy?
No, I'm calling
Good
that.
For
man.
you.
Oh,
wow.
And I'll be. I've been had the views have been just incredible through this year. So I love doing it anyway. So I really love doing it. But yeah, I'm going to probably do it. If we win, I'm doing a 24-hour stream.
I need to be in a padded room for 24 hours if this was Buffalo. I don't know how you're doing it. I couldn't imagine living this in just reality, much less a camera in your face. So,
well, I'll just, if I may say, knowing what Jesse, look, Jesse, you got your Super Bowls real young. You had to wait all these years. Mike, you've had to wait all these years. Z-Bot, what you've gone through in your lifetime. Jake, he's fine. But I understand with you guys, and I know that sense of like wanting to get back this point, and Jesse's point of you've gotten so close and then not to get back there. And it has made me, when I see the perspective of you guys and not having these opportunities and making this just something that's so valued to be here, and you're just, again, coming back, just being thankful for being here and enjoying the whole process through it and hoping that we can bring it home. But if we do, I'm going to celebrate this to the nth degree because of it too, right? I figure you'd be doing the same thing, Z-Bot, if you guys got it on your end.
Brother, you have no idea. I just hope I live to one day be able to get to that point. And the way it seems, I don't know if that's going to happen, and I could live to 100. You were mentioning,
hey, Justin Jefferson to Buffalo, huh? What do you think?
Oh, don't tempt me now, Brando. Him, Max Crosby. Listen, Brandon Beane had a fire lit under his ass unlike any other. And now he is, he went from a guy that I think many people in Buffalo were scratching their heads saying, man, they decided to keep him and let go with Sean, to you've watched the press tour, or maybe you haven't, this past week, where they've done their due diligence, making it seem like there's a new chapter in Buffalo. So who knows, Brandon? Maybe we play your Hawks this time next year, like the prophecy foretold. But unfortunately, my Buffalo Bills were unable to live up to their end of the bargain. Now, you mentioned being thankful. We're thankful for nearly all 1,000 of you joining us this evening, and we're thankful for the list of super chats we're about to read off. 53 minutes in the books, Brando. It's time for the best part of the show. It is super chat time. We start off with Jonah Naylor, not to be confused with John Naylor. Jonah says, did not have the stub station on my bingo card. Jesse, CMC spoke out about this, and I believe the quote was, it's not nothing. What are you making of what felt like nothing turning into at least a little bit of something?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, here's the thing. People are all over the place. Oh, it means nothing. Oh, it's something. It really, what we think means nothing here. But what does matter is a lot of NFL players do think there's something here. And if that's the case, then it's an issue. And when you've got players on the Patriots and the Seahawks talking about it, You've got 49ers talking about it. That means free agents are talking about it. This is an actual thing. And I'm worried that it's going to cause issues as far as bringing players in and keeping players. They have to address it in some sort of fashion. And Jed York going on and talking to, what was it, Mina? Was it, who was he talking to?
I don't know. It was awful.
But it was like, oh, Jerry Rice played here and he had a hell of a healthy career. I guess it means nothing. It's like, no, you idiot. Like, players are talking about it. Who cares what your opinions are? Players think it's something, so that means it's something. You have to do something more than just say Jerry Rice had a great healthy career while he was here. That's not the way that this works. That was the worst possible argument you could make. It's an arrogant argument, and I don't know, whatever. I just, like I said, regardless of what our thoughts are, it really is irrelevant. But if the players are talking about it, then it means something, and you have to address it.
Ain't it something that this comes out right when they get the chance to host the biggest sports spectacle in America? I mean, it's like you got a feeling this would at least go away to some degree if the Niners weren't hosting the Super Bowl, but obviously not. So it's a storyline. Like you said, Jesse, what we say is irrelevant. It's the fact that guys are talking about it. They're aware of it. Not to the same extent, but, with the whole turf and grass argument, there's far more reasoning to argue with the grass being the better playing field than the turf. But as soon as you have that in your mind, right, it becomes a thing, whether it's this massive thing or not. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up coming to this. It's not like you can.
We got one. We had one at 6:00 too.
Oh, give it
Jesse,
to me.
Do you have the access on it there? It's right at 6.
I can't. Yeah, I'm not logged in.
So Don Kraken, sorry. Can't post out Don onto the screen, but Don with the $5 donation says, Jake cursed himself when he talked about Kupp going to the Hawks, saying something along the lines of not making it to the Super Bowl without him.
Thank you, Don, for the super chat, brother. We appreciate you. Feed me more. You mean your Seattle Bills, Eba? Yes, when I tell you the entire city of Buffalo is Volt Green,
whole nation,
navy
baby.
blue, silver, you name it. The whole nation, including us up here in upstate New York. We got Taylor PNW. Hey, Jesse. So is Sammy Boy a good quarterback yet? We were likely 5 days away from calling him Super Bowl MVP, Sam Darnold. Just admit you're a fan already, will you?
Oh, dude, I wrote a poem about him. I cheered for him against the Rams. I think I'm a bona fide Sam Darnold fan. Have I not proven this? I mean, how many more times you got to see it, Taylor?
I don't think you're alone in this. It feels like the world, as they've come along to rooting for Seattle in this game, they've also come along to being a Sam Darnold fan. One of the cooler things I think that has transpired from this whole thing, and by the way, Brando, I think your boy Sam Darnold kind of played a heavy hand in some shakeups happening in Minnesota this offseason too. It's amazing what has come from that.
One day after that soundbite of being like, yeah, that was kind of a tough one for us. Out the next day.
Yeah, the ripple effect of the Sam Darnold legacy is being felt in many ways right now.
Ooh.
Wow, Megan dropping off a Crimson super chat.
Let's go, Megan.
I know no one's more fired up than Megan is right now. Megan saying was in a sports bar in Sydney in full Hawks kit when we won the NFC Championship game, and the number of pats on the back and drinks bought were numerous. Been a pleasure being 12 this year, not only with the Super Bowl run, but the 50th anniversary. Let's effing go Hawks. Wow. Love it.
Let's go,
I know
Megan.
Fanatics has been getting drilled over the merch here, Brando, but have you indulged a little bit, or are you waiting for them to win it until you start going crazy?
I was going to get a jersey, but they kind of look like kind of blouses, It had sort of like a little bit too much of almost like a frill around the edge. I'm like, what is this? So I don't know. I'm still waiting to see if they might kind of fix some of they went a little bit weird. Let's just say that with it.
It's the only reason I bet on the Bills to win the Super Bowl every year, because I need a reserve fund for the amount of money that I would spend should they do it, because there would not be a thing I wouldn't buy that had the logo on it. So I pray for you in that regard if they end up winning it here. Mark Sanchez. So the Hawks beat the MVP 2 out of 3 with 2 Hall of Famers at wide receiver because the Hawks gave up a lot of yards against the Rams. Really? The Hawks D is sweating May, Diggs, and nobody else worth mentioning. Put some respect on my man Matt Collins' name, Mark. Okay. Former Buffalo Bill doing things out there. A lot of my former Buffalo Bills are doing things out there in New England right now.
What did you think of Diggs' comment? Did you see his comment when he was asked about the Bills or whatever? I thought I'm not a big Diggs fan, and I think that I know for a fact that him and Josh Allen weren't getting along the final couple of years there. And obviously I'm a Josh Allen guy, but I respected what Diggs had to say. I actually genuinely did respect what he had to say.
Was that today? I don't think I caught it.
What did he say?
He was asked about the Bills, and he said, hey, I understand Bills fans, I'm not liked there. He said, but no hard feelings. And he goes, I just want to let you guys know, you guys definitely have a Hall of Fame quarterback there. You guys are going to be fine. And maybe one day, we can make up again. Nothing but good things to say about Buffalo. So he was actually he could have taken a shot, and he didn't. I actually thought that was pretty big of him. I didn't expect that from Diggs, because he's kind of he can be a sucker sometimes.
Tell you what, if I was sitting on Radio Row with that Super Bowl patch on my sweatsuit, Jesse, I think I'd probably be saying the same. But I think that there's a lot we don't know there. What you said is evident. Whatever actually happened is hearsay. No one fully seems to know, but it clearly looks like both sides have made out to some degree in this. Allen wins an MVP. When Diggs leaves, Diggs is off to a Super Bowl. So the problem now with our Buffalo is they've been trying to find a replacement for Diggs ever since, and that still remains widely up for availability, and of course Brandon had to go steal cheap from us. I know it.
Stop going to the outlet store for your wide receivers.
Bargain bin. That's what they've been calling them, right? That's what the bargain bin Buffalo is what it's been as of late. But hopefully things change soon here. Andrew's saying Jesse passed his Darnolditis to Jake. Wow, really contagious for non-Hawk fans. Some are saying it's worse than the substation. It's something. It's something. It's not nothing, Andrew. It's not
nothing.
It's the Darnolditis.
It's not nothing. It's not zero.
Banker Elpris, will the NFL complete the trifecta and tell Brady next year, you're not a first ballot Hall of Famer, Seahawks 35, Pats 10, and I can't get over this. I mean, I've never seen a more greater and respected institution devalued in such a short amount of time than the Hall of Fame has been the last week.
Agree.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I don't get what anybody's trying to do out there with this kind of stuff. You're voting like this. It's just, you should have your voting taken away with this kind of stuff. This is the way you're going to vote, frankly. It sort of delegitimizes you.
Totally agree. And it also seems a little trivial to have it all come down to 50 writers in a room, especially the way that they've done it now, where you have legacy votes too, where guys are off the ballot if they don't get in a certain amount of time. Makes it tough. But at the end of the day, if Bill Belichick's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then I just don't know who is. Megan, Mike Mack's named Hawks head coach 2 years ago today. Wow.
Putting in that work.
Celebrating his anniversary in style this upcoming weekend, Megan. How about these past 2 years for Seattle? Master B. Chiefin, Eamon or JSN will be Super Bowl MVP. Go Hawks. Is there a chance here, Brando, you could see a defensive MVP here for Seattle should Sam Darnold not light the world on fire?
Look, I know I've been hyping up Eamon since training camp, seen him in person, and I think he's proven a lot of that to be true throughout this year. Last week, your highest rated defender in that game against the Rams was Nick Eamon. And he came up with some big plays, 3 pass breakups in that game, great as a run defender. He's the equalizer. He allows you to play nickel defense 24/7, unlike every other team that we have to face going up against us with our 12 personnel, 13 personnel, 21 personnel, where they all have to go to base now. They all got to go to heavy. And we don't have to do that because of his presence. He's an outstanding player, and I wouldn't be surprised in the least if he filled up a stat column in the Super Bowl and got that MVP at all.
Taylor, PNW.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
At plus 3,000, Rashid Shaheed. I'll take my chances. I like that one.
Special teams.
I like that. I like that too, because Mike Vrabel comes from Belichick's tree. What does Belichick do? He says, I'm not going to let your number one wide receiver beat me, right? I'm going to put in my game plan. So that's going to open up those opportunities like we saw with Shaheed on that first play against the Rams, or one of the first plays against the Rams where he got over the top. It's because they wound one safety that way. They brought the other safety up. You get him in press on the outside and he's good to go. So 100% on that one.
Taylor saying Seahawks blow out the Patriots. Do it for Z-Bot. Yeah, come on.
Please.
Come on, Wells. Do it for your guy. Do it for your trusty host, Mark
Do it
Sanchez.
for long-suffering Bill fans.
Please,
win the Super Bowl for long-suffering Bill fans.
God knows we need a little bit of something, right? Mark's saying Z-Bot awesome hoodie. offer you a 24-hour pass to be a Hawks fan, I will gladly accept that, Mark. Come fly with us on Sunday. By the way, will the Bills' new stadium open up this fall? It will. Bills will have a new OC, a new DC, a new head coach, a new stadium. They even announced today they're breaking up with their long-standing radio affiliate of 14 years to do in-house game broadcasts. So there's going to be a lot of new in Buffalo this upcoming season. Craziness, man. So hopefully with that newness comes a new era where, once again, we're previewing Bills and maybe Bills Cardinals, Mike. How about that this time next year? How about that?
I like that.
We got Vermillion. Pats fans thinking they are going to win the same way from Super Bowl 49, but they are very different teams, and Pats have some problems they are not admitting, like their O-line let May get sacked 15 times in the playoffs. I feel like the defense, if I was on the New England defense right now, fellas, I would feel like, where's the love, man? Just feels like it's constantly being delved to this offense.
Well, I think, and first off, let's give the love to Vermillion for the $20 donation. Thank you for that, Vermillion. You're mentioning like the Patriots being underdogs the first time they came in here. Let's look at some of the guys they had on that defense as we think about them historically speaking. Richard Seymour, Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy. Any of you guys see any kind of equivalency of a player on this Pats defense right now outside of maybe Gonzalez?
They were absolutely loaded. Every single one of Tom Brady's victories with the New England Patriots featured a top 10 defense. And much like right now, should New England win on Sunday, you're not going to hear a whole lot about that defense, right? You're going to continuously hear what you've heard up until this point, even though it doesn't feel like it's necessarily been earned to the degree in which you'd think it would be based on how everybody's talking in the Massachusetts area. We have our main man, Jonah. Brando, can C Walken tell us whose Super Bowl stadium they're playing in on Sunday?
Yes, I'm glad to, really. We're going to walk in on Sunday, like walking, and we're going to take it over this strange, weird red house that no longer belongs to them. Keep it with your substation. It's over. It's called Hack's House. That's how you'll now refer to it. And be phonetic, if you could, please. Hack's House is the name.
Oh, poor Jesse. I mean, this is salt in a gaping wound. Unbelievable. Wu-Tang Financial. Seattle gonna beat the brakes off the Pats. I have it close in the first half, and Hawks pull away in the third. Sorry, Jesse. Good to have you back, but Seattle gets its revenge Sunday. It is the best username on YouTube. It's Brown Sausage. Happy to be here, and much love to you guys. Much love to you as well, Brown Sausage. I got Hawks 34-20. I think Sam plays well, and the defense gets into the Pats' heads. I'm going to go nuts and say Demon Wari gets MVP. Go Hawks. Wow. That value on the betting line there might be going down significantly after the show here. We got a couple of people on the Demon Wari MVP train heading into Sunday. Jack of no trades. GG's to the rest of the West. Best division in football. So proud of my Hawks. They're out here on the Lord's mission. Go Hawks. The Warhammer.
Amen.
Darth Kraft was denied by the Hall of Tuggies. Yeah. Rough week for the Pats.
He got turned down a little rub and tug, and he's like, I'm going to go leak something out.
Tough week. No wonder they had to get that selling of the team info out there, man. They got to get a little bit of a different storyline going besides Kraft and Belichick not making the hall here. Jonah, back in again. Christopher Walken, loving how much sense Jesse is making. He sent that before you even spoke, by the way. So he already knew you were going to nail it.
It took a while for him, and I tried to bring him along slowly, but finally now he's arrived to the light. The Donald light. It's bright, isn't it, Jesse? Take it in. Look at it. It won't blind you. No.
Dueling. You guys rock. Go Hawks. We have Jonathan Smith. It shouldn't be the Hawks house. Should be the South Clink or Slink?
Clink was Century Link before, so people used to call it Clink as a name. So I could see that. I mean, I can go with that.
All right. I like that. Getting creative. We got Mark back in the building. This is for new Hawks fans. Enjoy this ride. Appreciate the calm before the storm. like Brandon, I have seen this franchise go through lows in the 80s and 90s. If we win, go to the parade, whatever it takes. I've always felt like that's got to be a must-do, right? Did you go to the last one, Brando?
I didn't because I was in New York at the time, but I will be going to this one 100 million % if we go. So
you gotta
go. It's a must event. So I will be there for show.
Love it. Freddie Baseman, fellas, good points. Hope against hope. So on any given Sunday, Freddie K's hating. He's putting on the Pats uni on Sunday, Brando. It's all right, Freddie. We still love you.
They're going to fight. They're going to claw. They're going to have their claws ripped out. They're going to die. That's what Al thinks. So even Al's thinking Seattle on this one, man.
Can't believe
they don't have what it takes. Not good enough. No.
You know how bad it's got to be to pull for New England? Only in this division. That's why I love this division. The hatred is real. Danny B. I think Eagles' domination of Mahomes and the Chiefs changed how GMs think about great defenses again. Well, you saw two great defenses get into the Super Bowl this year. It does feel like it's gotten a little more de-oriented than maybe it was the last couple of years. Maybe not this year in itself, but it does feel like it's being valued a bit more. You're also seeing teams leave points on the board a lot with this transition of going for it on fourth a ton. I think you're seeing a lot of points left on the board, but no question about it. The unit in this game that I think obviously has led both teams to where they are, clearly the defense, especially for New England, and that's going to be the only way I see them winning this game is if New England's defense does what they've been doing for the last month here. Russ, I just want to say I love all of you brothers. Love that. Love to you, Russ.
Thank you, Russ.
Just curious, Brandon, how much would you enjoy calling the game with Steve Rabel?
Rabel. I would love it. He's our play-by-play guy that does it for the Seattle Seahawks. Been doing it for a long period of time, and he's phenomenal at it. You aspire to do as well as he does it when I'm going live to try to be as good. So that'd be a dream to be up in the booth up there, man.
God, that is the best gig anybody could ever have. I mean,
Right.
oh my God, if there's one thing, like I'd rather if you gave me the option of like winning the lottery or like be able to do that job, would 100% take that job. I mean, I can't think of anything that would be more fun than that, especially like in this situation where you go the distance like this. Mark Jackson, I have the Seahawks 35-13. Cards have a coach. Go Cards. Number 3 pick. The rebuild begins, man. Morale is high for everyone in here, but Jesse, of course, because of the substation, the fact that this game's being played at Levi. Jake's got Darnolditis. Looking good on the left side of the screen, not including myself either, just the left middle here. We got Prapa with his Patriots logo with the Niners logo superimposed on the face. Prapa saying, Z-Bot, from a neutral perspective, who's the coolest franchise in the NFC West? Wow, the coolest.
That's a good question.
Wow.
Come on, there's one good answer here, Z-Bot.
I want to say Niners, but I have a big problem because much like Dallas, like if I go anywhere, I'm going to see a Jerry Rice jersey or an Emmitt Smith jersey, and it starts to devalue the coolness of it, where it was once cool, but it's so, it just became so mainstream that it's not cool. That's where I feel for diehard fans. Because, Jesse, I don't think you're going to see anybody rocking a James Cook jersey just for the hell of it. But you're going to see a lot of Montana and Jerry Rice, much like you see a lot of Aikman and Emmitt Smith. And so, God, I don't know, man. I'll tell you this. If I got to narrow it down to one thing, it's the fact that I think Seattle's got the best color scheme in the division. So if I had to rock a uni, it would be the Volt Green all day. So I guess I got to lean with my Hawks. I've been leaning with my Hawks all season long. I can't look away now, Prapa. I can't look away now. Russ, Jesse, could you send me a signed copy of your poem? Get out that feather and ink, Jesse, that you wrote that thing.
Listen, I will never, ever, ever sign anything for anybody. That would be weird, but I appreciate it.
Oh, man. Tony Bag of Donuts. Seriously considering changing my handle to Jesse's hair game. I'll never understand how it gets any hate. How you look at that head of hair and say nothing but damn.
Right.
You got to say what Tony's saying here. Basically pay homage to what I find to be the best hair game on the stream here. But what do I know? I'm just a stupid.
I don't know. Mike has good hair. I will say a lot of people were talking about how my hair has gotten grayer over the last couple of weeks watching Seattle go to the Super Bowl. That might be true, actually. That might be true.
Well, if that's the case, I'll have a full head of gray hair on the stream next week should New England find a way to win this game. But I don't think it's happening. Regardless of what happens, you better believe we'll be here to talk to you about it all. We cannot wait. Same time, same place. Next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, NFC West Roundtable YouTube channel, where we will be recapping Super Bowl
Sheesh.
Brando, let me wish you the best of luck on behalf of all of us. I know I might not be speaking for everybody in the sense that they might be rooting for your Hawks, but damn it, it feels like everybody else is, including myself. I wish you the best of luck, brother. Don't pass out from the nerves, because even though it feels like they got it, I don't know how you're going to be able to sit through it without a little bit of pacing, a little bit of sweating. But best of luck to you. It doesn't get better than this, and it doesn't get better than us joining you next week to talk about it.
If I can too, just really cool of you guys being so kind, as well as being so magnanimous and coming in like this after you guys and being so just cool and open discussion on this. The kind words from you earlier, Jesse. Really appreciate you guys too. My brothers in doing this, and it's been a lot of fun doing this with you, but especially fun having you guys along with us on this ride.
No question.
Listen, I'm 100% not rooting for the Seahawks. However, if the Seahawks win, I will gladly smile ear to ear when we open up the show with your celebration next week of your team winning the Super Bowl. I would be very happy for you. So,
Peter, go Hawks. Dropping off a tangerine before we sign off, saying long drives by Seattle and quick strikes by their D with 3 and outs. Dominate the Pats D and crush the offense's confidence. Hawks score a lot in the second half, making this a blowout, 38-12. 12K on the line. Wow, Peter's rooting for more than just a W for the Hawks. Rooting for a W for that bank account.
Go, Peter.
Love that. We got Josh Schmitz. Jesse, I hear you're TikTok famous. Sounds like you need a manager. Time to pump out that Hawks content. Hey, he called dibs. He wants to get you there in the infancy stages here, Jesse, before you really blow up.
I can't believe 1.3 million people saw that ridiculousness. That's ridiculous.
That's
You're
from
the
the
next
poem?
Edgar Allan Poe, for God's sake. By the way, Kraken saying missed the $10 super chat. Kraken, I don't know if I saw this one.
That was the one at 6 o'clock. We read at the front there. So sorry, it's Dan. It was right at the start of the show. If you guys do it right at that start, give it a couple minutes before you guys do your first dono, so it doesn't show up in the feed sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you go back at the start when we read these, I did read it. I just didn't show it there. But if you go back to right when we start reading the donos, Kraken, you can see we do respond to your deal on that.
All right, there we have it. $120 in the books. Previewing Super Bowl 60, where Brando and the 12's Hawks get ready to face the New England Patriots. Can't wait to talk about it next week. We really appreciate each and every one of you stopping by tonight for this iteration of the NFC West Roundtable. For Mike, Jesse, Brando, and Jake, who's reeling through that Darnolditis, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning in to the NFC West Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.
Roundtable Sports Network is your one-stop shop for all things NFL, with daily live shows covering all 8 divisions in the league, hosted by the best content creators on the web, all on one network. Catch the AFC East live every Monday at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The AFC North Roundtable live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The NFC East Roundtable live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. The NFC West Roundtable live at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. The NFC North Roundtable is at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and the NFC South Roundtable is live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. EST. And of course, fourth and forever, the flagship show of Roundtable Sports Network, covering all things NFL at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Roundtable Sports YouTube channel. Real coverage, real fans.